Brought to you by YourQuote, an app that makes you write and perform.
It was around the start of October, Mahalaya. The squalor of political michils, the perennial squabble surrounding Garyahat, Newmarket, College Street, Sham Bazaar, the rants of commuters about the haplessly overcrowded metro, the raves surrounding the inclusion of Yusuf Pathan in the latest KKR match had given way. Kolkata, already resplendent in her October femininity, was gearing up to welcome the Devi once again. After a hasty shopping spree at Money Square, I had boarded a taxi and was returning home. I must have fallen asleep, for when I opened my eyes, it was dark all around. The taxi had crossed Science City and was hurtling towards Hyatt Regency. An enormous black mass, probably Satan himself, had engulfed the sun, determined to drown all aspirations of the frenzied pre-puja people in a deluge. The vehicle screeched to a halt. The lights had gone red. Meanwhile, a matador carrying Chal, Chitras and Dhakis, the drummers, drumming up an infectious, intoxicating beat, meandered to a halt adjacent to our taxi. A strong gust swept over my face and the pitter-patter started, sending harried bystanders and onlookers swarming in every direction. The Dhakis, dispirited, cowered, using the Chal Chitra as an improvised umbrella. I pulled up the glasses on either side and sat staring outside. The palm trees, lampposts, ad hoardings, all merging into viscous shades of green, ash, vermilion. The windscreen portrayed the canvas of a mad painter who had mixed all the colors on his palette and splashed them around at random. After a while, I was bored. I started tinkering with my iPhone when I heard a faint knock on the window to the other side. A streak of brown had crawled up from behind. A beggar, I thought. As I lowered the pane, the silhouette came to light. A young woman in a wheelchair, an infant slung over her right, a mother. The lady was barely 20, her salwar dangling loosely beneath the waist. Both her limbs had been amputated. Her right hand held a bundle of roses, red, white, yellow, while the left clasped the head of the infant, the dupatta providing inadequate relief from the rain. While the world scurried for cover, the mother had nowhere to run with her child. 20 years had caught up with her so fast as to render escape to be a recurring futility, and she had learned to brave the rain, the sun, and the unforgiving world. She had learned to fend for herself and her extended entity, looking the elements in their eyes. Fate had lined her forehead with wrinkles at that tender age, and the lack of crimson perhaps highlighted the void. She was not pretty, and her face, with rainwater streaming down, reflected a soul that had weathered monsoons aplenty, but hadn't seen many a spring. The most striking aspect was that, in spite of the rain and the commotion around, the child slept. The child slept, warmed by the love of her mother's heart. A scene that knew no malign. A scene that glowed with the divinity of the bond the two protagonists shared. She held up a small bouquet. 90 rupees, Dada. The flowers were still fresh, and they presented a strange contrast. As if the rain had somehow drained all hues that the mother had once possessed in her life into the bouquet, leaving a monotony of black and white. I handed her a 100-rupee note, accepted the change, and sat back in silent admiration as she slowly turned the wheel and prepared to leave. There she was, clinging onto her baby, the Chal Chitra, creating the perfect backdrop. The scene was symbolic. The Devi being a symbol of Shakti, the young lady aptly filled the void in the foreground, a warrior, scathed by the ordeals of a not-so-ordinary life, but still up to take the next blow on the chin and deliver the sucker punch. By then, the downpour had reduced to a light drizzle. The dhaki started drumming with renewed vigor as the Devi trudged on, cradling her son. For her, there was no abahan, no agamani, neither was there any visarjan, just an endless conquest in search of a better tomorrow, a new dawn, 2 square meals, milk in her breasts, school for her son. The taxi gyrated back to life, stirring me to my senses. I had no idea how long the encounter had lasted. The rain had stopped, and the setting sun peeped through, splashing the October sky with a tinge of melancholic crimson. As the chants of Joy Ma Durga grew louder in the distance, I secured the flowers and my memories, still fresh, and the taxi moved on. Thank you.